Hello viewers, you're welcome to another episode of AutoCAD. Today we're going to be seeing how we can draw or we can do hatch drawings. This is the lesson 2 of our AutoCAD series, so let's jump right in. In this lesson you're going to learn how to use the following tools: extend, fillet, chamfer, mirror, and hatch tools. So let's see. We're going to be drawing something similar to this. Before I forget, my name remains Vincent Hope, your instructor. So let's see a sample of exactly what we want to draw. Let me open AutoCAD here. Okay, so we're going to be drawing something as beautiful as this in AutoCAD. The whole essence is to learn the basic tools that we have identified. And we also have to learn how to save our document in AutoCAD. So let's begin the class. So let me click File here. I click New. Then I type the file name I want to use because it's a new file. So let me just call it a hatch drawing. Hatch drawing. Okay, sorry, it's going to, okay, sorry, I cancel this. I click File again, I click New. Okay, just click New, and let's click Open. Okay, I was thinking that was saved. So now we are in the AutoCAD environment. We have not yet saved it, so let's make progress. So the first thing we are going to do, we take the line tool, we pick the line tool, we come to a position, we click here. You can decide to draw direct or you give a dimension. So let me start. I can give, remember our dimension has been set to millimeters, so I type 500 millimeters downward. I press enter. So this is 500 millimeters. So I come to this point, I put the mouse pointer in this direction. I type the distance to be 250. I press enter. Okay, I come down here, I type it to be another 500. I press enter. So the direction you position the mouse pointer, it follows you there. So I put this one here, I type 250. I press enter. Then I take a long one here. Since the other two directions was 500, I can decide to make this 1000. I press enter and I press enter again. So I already have something beautiful here. Now the next thing I want to do, I'll still pick the line tool. I click the line tool here. I click from here. I can extend it to this position, but I decide to leave it at the midpoint, and you will see the reason why. Click here, I press enter. I come to this other position, click line again. I click this position, I bring it to the midpoint here. I click and I press enter. So I have two lines here. Now I stopped here because I want to show you how to use the extend tool. So I come here to the extend tool here. I click the extend tool, then it said select objects. Then I select this line here, I click it and I press enter. Then I select the object I want to extend. Once I put it there, you see it has extended. So I click this, I come to this other position, I also click it, so it extends and I press enter. So I'm done with the extend tool. Now I may like to hatch this, I may like to offset some parts of this drawing. So I come to the tool here, offset, I click offset tool. Then it asks me offset distance. I can start first with, let me use 30. I press enter. I come to this one here, I click here. I bring it outside, click. I click this, I bring it outside, I click. I click this, I bring it outside, I click. I can also do the same here, click, bring it outside. Oh, I don't think I need that. Let me see if I need it. Click. Okay, let me Control Z because I may not need it. So I think I'm okay with this, and I press enter. I still want to offset some other lines in this place, so I will click the offset button again, and I click it says offset distance. This time I take 100. Let's see, press enter. I click this one in middle here. You see the distance is 100. I want something better, so let me make it 150. Press enter. You see the offset distance. Then I click this one and I make the offset distance this one I can leave it at 100, or let me make it 150. Press enter. Okay, so you can see my drawing, and I press enter to terminate that object. Now I may want to do something which I want to say, okay, so what I can do, I can decide to move this shape. Okay, now let me move this shape a bit, or okay, let me move it. This is the move tool. I click the move tool. I click this. Okay, I click the move tool. Let me click the move tool. Let me select the entire object. Sorry, so you have to select well. Move, click from here, click this object from here, drag down, click here, press enter. Then let me move it up a bit, come to this point here, base point, and I press enter. Oh, it moved to this position. Okay, let me undo it. Okay, I'm looking for the pan tool. Okay, let me do that again. Click the move tool, click from this position, drag it, click here, press enter. Then it selects, and I press enter. It says select base points where to move it. Well, let me I can take from this point, then I can move it to any direction. I will move it to this point. Okay, I think I have something. I wanted it to be visible so that we can see what we're doing. Okay, so now it's more visible. Now the next thing I want to do, I'm going to use these two tools. I'm going to use this one called the chamfer tool, and I'm also going to use the one called the fillet. They do almost the same thing, but there's a difference. So let's watch what the difference is. So now let's to give us more visibility, okay, or let's leave it like that. So let's come to the chamfer tool. I click the chamfer tool, click chamfer. If I click chamfer, the chamfer tool, then I type A for angle, and I press enter. It will ask me for it said chamfer length of first line. Now let me enter the angle. Let's put I say 35, and I press enter. Okay, it's still asking me for chamfer angle. Let me type 35. I press enter. They now select first line. I will select this line here, 1, and I'll select this line here, 2. Immediately I select it, you see there's a curve here that comes as it's showing now. So that's what the chamfer does. Now if I want to repeat the process, I just press enter. It's already set as 35 degrees angle. So I come to this one here, I click, and I come to this one here, I click. You can see now the edges are curved at an angle of 35 degrees. So that's what the chamfer does. Now the fillet does something similar. Now if I click the fillet, I click fillet, and I type, now it uses radius. I type R for radius, I press enter. It still asks me the radius. Now let me put the radius at 50, and I press enter. Now I come to this edge here, I click, and I come to this edge here, I click, and I press enter. Now look at the difference. The difference between the chamfer gives like a straight sharp edge, while the fillet gives like a curved edge. So that's the difference between the chamfer and the fillet. Okay, so we are done with that. Press enter. So now the next thing we're going to do some hatching. which puts like some maps or some coloration or some designs into your diagram. So I come to this tool here. Look at it here. You see it's called a hatch. I click the hatch tool. I click the hatch tool. You can see the different types of hatches or patterns that you require. Let's look for something that is interesting. Let's take let's see extra. Let's take extra. This is extra. You can also select the color that you can decide. Look at this point, you have solid gradient pattern, so we're still setting pattern. Let's take a color here. Let's take something like purple. Then I come to this point. Where do I want to? You see, now as I click, I just click here. Then I press enter. I press enter again to repeat the process for another place, for another point. I come, I select which one? Gravel. I need gravel. I want something smaller. Let's say install. If I want to install, I select another color. Let me say orange. I come to this place and I click this. Okay, it says close boundary not determined. Okay, now okay, it has done that. Now, so it depends. So, and every hatch you do, it has to be in a closed boundary. So I press enter. I repeat the process. Enter. If you want to repeat the last command, you select any pattern. Let's say mods. I select change the color. You play around with the colors. Let's see light gray. I come to this point. I click. So you can see what's happening here. I press enter. I now come, press enter again to repeat the command. I select another type. Let's say dull mix. Select another color. Which one do I select now? I select light blue or cyan, and I come to this point and I click here and I press enter. So you can see we have a very beautiful place. Now let me try this open place so that you can see where you have errors. So I come, I click, I press enter again. I come to, let's say earth. I select a color, but I click let's say this color. I select this and I come here and I click. Now it said a closed boundary cannot be determined, so it cannot function in this place. So I click close. So here the hatch tool cannot work. So what do? I press enter. Now let me mirror this image. I can come here and come to the point of mirror. I click mirror. Then I select this. I click from here, select all those points, and I press click here, and I press enter. Then it says specify first point of mirror line. I'll come to this point. I click here, and I drag here. You see now what is happening. I press and I click. You can see, and I said erase source object, no. Now you can see I have a perfect shape. Now I can now do the hatch in between because it's now a closed object. So instead of using hatch this time around, I'm going to use this tool called what? Gradient fields. Look at the function of a gradient. It says fields and enclosed area or sub-selected object with gradient field. So I click it. Okay, it also brings its own patterns. I may decide, okay, this is gradient here. Remember we saw those options before. It was pattern, gradient, solid. So I select gradient. I can now select, let's say, AH bond. Then I select this color. This color is what we selected initially, and I bring it here and I click and I press enter. So let me move it to the screen. To the point I click it, I have to select the entire object. Okay, let me press enter. So I scroll, let me scroll up so that I can see escape here. I'm scrolling up here. Yeah, so I am scrolling up here. Okay, let me use my pan tool. I use my pan tool. I can move the shape. Okay, beautiful. I move it to the visible position. So now you can see what we have designed. So what are the tools we used? We used the line tool to draw the bottom diagram. We use the extend tool to extend the line to the edge. We use the offset tools to get these external lines. We use the chamfer for these edges. We use the fillet for this edge. Then we use the hatch to put the patterns. Then we moved it. So what we're going to do finally is to save it. We'll now click File. Then we click Save. Then you give it a name. You can call it Hatch Design. So you click Hatch Design and you click Save. So you can see the option, the name here, Hatch Design. So there you have it. You have learned another thing in this lesson. So if you have any questions or any observations or anything you want us to do to treat, please drop your comments on this video. So by name remains Vincent